Welcome back, Rain Gang. Welcome back, Ravens flock. We got a lot to get into today on this episode of Quiet Storm Sports. What exactly is this 53-man roster going to look like? We're going to cover that, this whole Ryan Clark ESPN situation, coach's assessment on Ethan Pocic, and so much more here on this episode of Quiet Storm Sports. But before I roll the intro, please be sure to like the video. Yes, sir. Football is almost back, and we already here. We ready. You know what they say, Coach? To be early is to be on time. To be on time is to be late. And you'd already know what me and Coach and so many other Ravens content creators been doing. We've been early to this party, right? Training camp starts on Friday, right? And we've been covering this team all season long. So you just know we've been starving. Okay, we've been starving, and we finally about to get some rain here. So we thank God for rain. We are live right now, as usual, for this episode of Quiet Storm Sports right here on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, where we cover all things Baltimore Ravens. We're live. Shout out to all the people in the live chat. We do have a super chat donation. This one's coming from TC before we even went live. All right. Shout out to you, TC. Let's go ahead and clap it up for him real quick. Kicking off the episode.
Shout out TC.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Making it rain here on this episode of Quiet Storm Sports. TC says TJ Mo was on Jason Whitlock's show, said that ESPN should DEI hire Lamar for this upcoming Super Bowl since we all know he's not going to make it there. Wait, what? Is that real? Did you hear about this, Coach?
Who is TJ Mo?
For real, like who the hell is that?
Who is TJ Mo?
I have no idea. I mean, but hey, look, if he was a special guest on Jason Whitlock's show, I kind of have a good idea of like where he leans with things.
He might be a NMFF, non-FF factor, non-MF factor. That's who.
Oh yeah, well yeah, for sure.
TJ Mo is. That's what he is.
Yeah, because again, who the hell is TJ Mo? But yeah, it's look, if he said that ESPN should DEI hire Lamar for this upcoming Super Bowl since we all know he's not going to. That sounds like a very clickbaity. I'm just trying to, get some headlines real quick. And I don't think it worked because I haven't seen that in my algorithm. It was just that stupid, apparently. But shout out to UTC. Thank you so much, brother, for your support here and your super chat donation in the live chat. As always, all super chat donations get brought to the forefront. We discuss them live here on the show. Thank you, TC, for kicking us off with that. He's also a member in the chat. Please consider becoming a member of the channel as well, especially getting into the season. The season's rolling. There's going to be a whole lot of content, a whole slew of content coming out here from the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. And some of that will be exclusive content. Okay. Let me see. King Blaze in the chat. Void is in the chat as well. Stretch 52. Neuropsych. Tila M. The M stands for moderator. She's in the chat as well. My guy RJ. What up, RJ? Appreciate you for coming through. Hope all is well. Stretch 626. Stretch 52. Wow. Zico Kage. Oslo. What up, y'all? What up, y'all? What's going on? And of course, I would be remiss if I did not give a shout out to the replay gang. That's right. You who are listening to this. Yeah, if you're listening to the replay of this live stream, whether you are just waking up, you're heading to work, you're on your commute, maybe you're on your lunch break the next day, maybe you're watching this right after we got done live, right? Shout out to you as well. Please be sure to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel as well. Okay, Coach, let's go ahead and hop right into it. So I was kind of taken aback by all of the recent ESPN layoffs, and we're going to start here. ESPN has been laying off dudes left, right, and center the past 24 hours. Ryan Clark, namely one of them. Cam Newton, another one. Bart Scott, another one. Tom Pelissero is another one as well. They've been heads have been rolling at ESPN. Going into football season, what do you make of all these layoffs, and what do you really think that ESPN is really driving at? Like, what's their end game with all this?
Trying to maximize profit. You cut some of the higher paying, quote unquote, maybe controversial guys out because you got this influx of talent coming from the NFL network that you can put on ESPN. So you got to look at like who make the most money. Who can we still be profitable with I'm sorry, who can we be profitable without? And so you look at the salaries and a whole bunch of other different factors, and RC was making $2 million a year. $2 million a year. And the guy that came over from the NFL Network a while ago, he had that issue with him. Who's to say that added to it? But they just trying to find a way to stay as profitable as they are, but cut as many money makers out.
Yeah, so I mean, really just kind of protecting their bottom line at all costs here. But my thing is though, because you mentioned like get rid of some of the guys who maybe a little bit more controversial and this and that, but like that's what gets you the engagement. That's what gets you the money, the ratings and things like that.
Mhm.
Because if you got a bunch of dudes up there on TV who are just as vanilla as can be, at some point people aren't going to want to tune in. They're going to get bored, right, Coach?
Mhm.
So I don't know if ESPN is doing the right thing here. It kind of feels like to me they're shooting themselves in the foot.
Right.
Because while I was never a big, like, huge Ryan Clark fan, admittedly, I did think he was a solid analyst, right? I mean, you can even see that by the things he's kind of branched off into on his own, like, doing the pivot show and things like that. He's a very thoughtful guy, and I think he brought a lot of good ideas to the table. He had very balanced takes on
Mhm.
the Ravens and Lamar Jackson historically. So I mean, I respect Ryan Clark. I do.
Yeah.
Even as a former Steeler, he is a Super Bowl champion. He knows what the heck he's talking about. So I just don't know why they would choose to get rid of him. And Bart Scott is another one. I mean, I like Bart Scott probably a little bit less, right? But but I just don't see how it could be so worth it to the point where like they have to lay these people off. This is Disney we're talking about at
Mhm.
the end of the day, Coach. Like they got money, long money, old
Yep.
money, new money, a whole lot of it. So I just don't believe that like they're saving a whole bunch of money by cutting Ryan Clark and Bart Scott and guys like that. I just don't see it. Now, what I do think that they may be trying to do is downsize and kind of funnel more of their viewers to their main two pillars at ESPN,
Mhm.
which is First Take with Stephen A. Smith and the Pat McAfee Show with Pat
Mhm.
McAfee, right?
I've
And I
seen a
told,
lot of memes since this happened that they say every time ESPN fires somebody, Pat McAfee get more money.
yeah, he does. And I saw something about that too. They pay Pat McAfee a lot of money because ESPN actually doesn't own the Pat McAfee Show. They just own the rights to the Pat McAfee Show. So he runs it all by himself. He pays
Mhm.
all of his own employees and things like that. And therefore, that's why they pay him a larger amount of money. So he can pay out the people that it takes to produce his show. Meanwhile, like First Take Stephen A., that's all ran by ESPN. And
Mhm.
Stephen A., he just plops in and he talks.
Yep.
Right. Now, neither here nor there. I mean, I don't really see, I don't really like Pat McAfee, to be honest with you. I think his gimmick is cool, but like
Mhm.
I can only take it in moderation, So
I don't even
yeah,
watch it. Now,
yeah,
if a clip comes up on Twitter where
mhm.
somebody says something on there, I watch that. But as far as tuning into his show on TV or on YouTube, and I don't have nothing against Pat.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
Let me see. JD in the chat says, "I hope people like Ben Solak, Mina Kimes, and Swagoo get more opportunities." Yeah, I mean, we don't even know if these layoffs are done yet.
Right.
So some of these other guys could be out the door. I mean, Swagoo, I'm thinking Big Perk, I'm thinking people like Monica McNutt. I mean, there's a
Mhm.
lot of different names that could definitely be on the chopping block. Dominique Foxworth. There's some names up there.
Hey,
Um,
did you know
yeah.
Swagoo's son is the one of the best high school players in high school right now?
No, I didn't know that. What does he play?
He's a hooper.
Mm,
And you got pro guys saying that he'd won.
okay. Do you know what position he played?
Swing. I mean not swing, wing.
Okay. Got you. All right. So he's more like a 3-and-D type of guy. Okay.
Mhm.
I feel that I have to look him up. What's his name?
Something Spears.
Some Spears. Yeah.
I just know he's Swagoo's his son. His daughter is already at UT playing volleyball.
All right. Yeah, I have to check that out. I didn't know that. I did not know that. But yeah, anyway, back to this, ESPN debacle. I do think that because ESPN, they've just had so much turnover. You think about it over the years, like ever since like the Skip Bayless days, right? They went from like solid co-host, and Skip Bayless, like at First Take, just for example. And that lasted like what, about a decade, I'd say.
Yeah.
Lasted a while, right? And then you had Max Kellerman on First Take, and that lasted for a cool, what, like 5 years, you know?
If
then
that long.
If that long. I know it was at least like 4, maybe 5 years. Then after that, they bring in, a bunch of different side characters and stuff like that. Then they bring in, boom, Shannon Sharp. Hottest name in sports television right now, Shannon Sharp. They bring him in, and Shannon Sharp really doesn't even live up to the expectations that you thought, you would have gotten out of him on First Take. So basically what I'm saying is to say, like, ESPN feels like they're scrambling now. They have no stability. There is no consistency. There is nobody really has any staying power outside of Stephen A. Smith and Pat McAfee.
Right.
But you know us, we don't really do the national media thing that much anyway, but it is worth mentioning because football season is around the corner. And sometimes, like we mentioned, we put the stuff on in the background and just listen to what these people got to say. But it's interesting nonetheless, don't you think?
I think part of what's happening is us. And I don't just necessarily mean me and you. I mean us YouTubers. Because you turn to ESPN, you barely get highlights anymore. I remember turning on ESPN at 7:00 in the morning, and if it's summer, I'm watching the same episode up until noon, over and over. Like, I know what highlights finna pop up. But now they rarely show highlights. It's more of a debate back and forth. You can go to YouTube and get the long form highlights of your team specific. So you ain't got to wait till 7:23 because the Ravens highlights come on at that time. You can go get, 10, 12, 15 minutes of Ravens highlights. And then you can get another 5 hours straight of Ravens content that's not the same. From you, me, Ing Raven, Lunch Break Hot Take, Nitro, Cole, whether you mess with Bob and Seth, you can go get 10 hours straight of your team content and you ain't got to listen to them. So I think the YouTube explosion is one of the reasons why they have to kind of downsize, because that 10, 12 years ago, we only had one choice. We had to watch First Take. We had to watch ESPN. We had to watch NFL Network. Now we got all these other options. And so I can't continue to spend $14 million, and I'm just picking a number, and it ain't adding up. I'm spending $14 million in salary, but I ain't getting $14 million in ad revenue, because ad revenue going to Sudden Reactions or Sip the Tally or Purple Rain Podcast or Lunch Break Hot Take. So the money just ain't adding up.
That's interesting. Like, that's a great point, Coach. Like, the engagement pie, if you will, has been sliced up into too many different slices now for them to warrant saying, okay, yeah, I mean, we dominate this industry like it's a monopoly. So yeah, we'll throw you 14 million and yeah, we can keep you on, even if you're not like the cash cow of the business. It's sure we can do that because there's no other competition. But now, like you mentioned, now that you have like people like us, like just content creators who are just pumping out content, and I mean like constantly, like you and I, we make content every day, but like we are just a microcosm of this bigger like YouTube content system. There's people putting out content literally every day, every hour on the hour, and that is competing with directly with these major networks now. So that's a good point. I hadn't thought about it that way until you just brought it up, but there's definitely a lot more competition. So I think that definitely attributes to it.
Agree that. Hey, pass some of them ESPN, them Charmin dollars to me.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll put a Coke up there if you want me to Coke.
Listen. Brand deals, if you're listening, you know what I'm saying? Hit us up. We available, You can
call me a brand slut if you want.
As long as that money coming in,
I need it.
I feel it. Let me see. Cohere Multimedia is in the chat, says ESPN has been suspect since the passing of Stuart Scott. Even their commercials were epic then. How long did Stuart Scott? That was like 5 years ago, right?
No, it's been a while. Stuart's been gone for a good minute. I'll look it up. But their commercials, and This Is Sports Center, whatever it was, their commercials used to be off the chain. They'd have the cameos from different people. They epic. Oh, how you spell SC? It's been 11 years.
11 years.
He died January 4th, 2015.
Wow. Why did I think it was? I must be thinking about somebody else. I'd be thinking about somebody else who died more recently. But 11 years is crazy. That's crazy. Okay. All right. let's go ahead transition here, Coach, into some Ravens talk, right? So we got through ESPN's analysts and whatnot. Let us know down below in the comments, Replay Gang, what you think about this whole ESPN craziness, people getting laid off left and right, heads are rolling. Let us know down below in the comments what you think. Anywho, since we've last talked, Coach, you and I, the Ravens have made a signing. They've made a signing for a center. And that center, his name is Ethan Pocic from the Cleveland Browns. 6'6", 320 pounds, coming off an Achilles tear in December, but recently he's been medically cleared to play, and he is now a Raven. Now, you, Coach, being an offensive line aficionado yourself, expertise in that field, I want to know. I'm curious. I watched your videos, by the way, too, but I'm curious. What makes you so certain about Ethan Pocic, and why should Ravens fans be excited about this signing?
If and this is, if was the fifth, if he's healthy, you're getting a solid center. You get a solid center. Is he Linderbaum? He may be a little bit under Linderbaum, but he's 9 times better than what we had in the clip. You're looking at a guy that has played in the AFC North, so he knows what kind of football is going to take place. You have a guy who started for almost a whole season before he tore his ACL. You take his first month of last season, that's more experience than any other center we had on the team combined. So you take an experienced guy, a guy who's been in the fire, a guy who knows what it takes to play in the AFC North. I ain't gonna say win in the AFC North, but play in the AFC North. If he's healthy, he's going to, I would say, let John Simpson and maybe Vinga be your only question marks. Because just from my video, like if he's healthy, he can move. He'll be a good zone center, because that's what we tend to be trending toward. And he's bigger than Tyler Linderbaum. So I may not have as many concerns with those gaudy zeros that sometimes bench press Linderbaum. So I'm excited about what he can be. We just got to worry about the health of him.
Yeah, basically, that's really all it boils down to. If this guy can be healthy and he can be, I mean, the word I've been using is just serviceable. And I know that's kind of like a word that a lot of people use, but it's the truth, right? I don't think you necessarily need somebody who's going to be the next Tyler Linderbaum. You just need somebody who has some experience there, because at the end of the day, this is not a rebuilding team.
No.
And the one position that it felt like we were a rebuilding team at, like truly, was center, because we just had no answers, right? We had no answers. It was like, okay, are we going to go with Danny Pinter or Javon Gwynn? 2 guys who I can guarantee you 99% of Ravens fans did not know existed, let alone played football last year.
Yep.
So now we've got Ethan Pocic. At least we're familiar with this guy. We've seen him across the aisle in the AFC North multiple times, right? There's people coming out left and right. Joe Thomas, former NFL player, talking about how much he loves Ethan Pocic, right? Joe Flacco on an interview today talking about how Ethan Pocic is really about his business. He's an underrated guy. Like, the Ravens got the one, basically. I'm loving everything that I'm hearing so far about Ethan Pocic. Now, talking about more specifically, Coach, just what he brings to the table technically, right? I saw you talk about in your video, and by the way, go and check out his film study, Coach's film study, on his channel. Again, Coach's channel is linked in the title of this video, so make sure if you're not subscribed already, click the link, go subscribe, watch his film studies. They're great. Now, I saw in your film studies, you were talking about how Ethan Pocic is really good at engaging, but then turning his hips to kind of create creases and holes for the running back. Can you speak a little bit to that and what that may look like in this offense?
So when you run a lot of zone stuff, specifically outside zone, you want to. Some offensive lineman needs to split the defense. It doesn't always have to be the center, but some offensive lineman needs to split the defense. That way you get that alley, and that split can come from linebackers overrunning, or you just actually getting turned because you know where the back is trying to go. And so what he did a good job of is getting to the outside shoulder of whoever he's blocking, and then basically just turning his hips, allowing the other 2 linemen to keep going right, but to also cut off any flow going right, therefore creating a lane for the running back to be a running back. And he did it a lot and I only watched that half. And so he did a lot in that game versus the 49ers. And the 49ers are fairly good defensive unit, even though they had some injuries last year, and that ended up having to be his best PFF game as well. So I got to go back and look at his bad games and see what he did bad, because somebody recommended me do that, and I was like, that's a good idea. I'm gonna go back and look at the worst graded game and see what that looked like as well.
Yeah. You know, the thing that I like the most about this offensive line, or this revamped offensive line, and really it's not revamped. We still got the two tackles. We've got Stanley and Rosengarten, but the entire interior has been revamped with John Simpson, now Ethan Pocic, and of course, 14th overall pick Vinga Ioane. I felt like, me personally, Coach, we were soft as Charmin, like the Charmin you were mentioning earlier in the show, on the interior, right? I mean, and that was one of the biggest reasons why Lamar Jackson was running for his life. And that's why he was holding onto the ball a lot more, because he had to get flushed out of the pocket, roll out one way or another on bad legs, bad ankles, toes, and eventually what became a back and things like that. The whole season was just catastrophic, but it started with the interior of that O-line. So now that you have, again, John Simpson, Pocic, and Vinga Ioane, all three of those guys, or at least two out of the three. I don't know as much about Ethan Pocic. You would know more based on the film than me. But we know two of those guys based off of the film we've seen from Vinga Ioane and what we've seen in Baltimore from John Simpson. They're mean. They're maulers, right? And that's what I think you need. That's what I think we need in this offense. So I personally cannot wait to see what Ethan Pocic has. And at the very least, I was telling Alex this yesterday, it's competition.
Exactly.
May the best man win.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you got what, 4 guys? You got Pocic, you got Gwen, you have Bullock, who else? Pinter, and then they got a UDFA that played with Binga at
Nick
at
Dawkins.
Penn State. Yeah, Nick Dawkins. So that's 5 guys in the competition. Best man come out.
Best man
All
come
5
out.
of y'all in the room. Whoever walk out, that's who got the job.
And I do. Now, I will say this, Coach, as we have 80 people watching live right now, thank y'all so much for coming through. Please be sure to like the video, sub if you're new. I will say this, and I told Alex yesterday, I want to get your take. I think the job should be Ethan Pocic's to lose.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. All right.
He
That's what I was thinking.
In the door whenever they show up next week. You are center one until I see otherwise.
Yep. Basically.
Whether it be health or somebody else outplaying you, you are the guy until I see your health ain't good enough or somebody beats you out.
Black Daniel says here in the chat, I like his work on combo blocks too, releasing and getting to the second level. Have you seen any of that on tape as well?
Yes. Another thing that I failed to mention is I don't see him hugging people like Falele and Voorhees. I see him with his hands inside. I see him went on certain plays where his hands are outside. He works on refitting his hands, and he don't just out there just trying to hug your girlfriend. So hopefully
hug and hold for the best.
Yeah, hopefully we can put that terminology to rest. But I think Warhawk was teaching hug your girlfriend.
Yeah, had to be. I mean, the way that they were so consistently utilizing that technique, they had to have been getting taught that. Had to be. Cindy, appreciate that sub. Welcome to the Rain Gang. Okay. So now, Coach, I do want to transition into this 53-man roster and what it could potentially look like in a couple of weeks here. Because as we know, that's kind of like the next milestone. We got to really cut the fat on this roster and see who we're taking into the season, as our starters and reserves. So let's go over here. I've put together a big board list, if you will, of all the players, the projected 53. This is the projected 53 that shows us, pretty much common sense, who's going to be there. The rookies here. Are we changing? How many people are we changing in personnel from last year? All that good stuff. So, for example, starting off with quarterback here. And what I want us to do, Coach, is I want us to kind of juxtapose what we see here, this projected 2026 53-man roster, and compare it to what we had last year. And do you think we upgraded? Did we downgrade? Or did we just stay the same? Was it a lateral movement? That's what we're going to do for each position group here. So we're going to start with quarterbacks. Quarterbacks, of course, in 2025, the Ravens carried 2 of those, and those 2 quarterbacks were Lamar Jackson and Cooper Rush until, of course, Tyler Huntley came into the fold later in the season. Now, projected starting quarterbacks are going to, well, not starting quarterbacks, but just rostered quarterbacks in general are going to be Lamar Jackson and Tyler Huntley from the jump. So I got to ask you, Coach, and I think I already know what you're going to say. What is your assessment? Do you think we upgraded, we downgraded, or we stay the same relatively?
I think we upgraded. When you Snoop over Cooper Rush, it was obvious that Snoop was better than him. And I think Skylar Thompson is better than Cooper Rush at this point. That's the number 3 guy. So and you got 2 or 3 other young guys in there as well. But I definitely think it's an upgrade with Snoop being number 2 because Snoop to me proved that he can go and get you some wins. He beat the Packers and the Bears, if I'm not mistaken. 2 teams that made the playoffs last year.
Yeah. He did. I mean, I feel way more comfortable going into the season with Tyler Huntley as the backup as opposed to Cooper Rush. It never made any sense. Excuse me. It never made any sense for the Ravens to bring in a backup quarterback. And I got to go back and just out of curiosity, see my reaction video from last offseason to when we signed Cooper Rush, because I had to have said the same thing.
I thought he was going because he won games in Dallas, but I realized he won games a different way in Dallas. He had a good O-line, had a good running back.
Right. Like here, if you're not Lamar or anything that resembles Lamar, it's like, good luck. And that really goes to show you just how, oh man, kind of having a revelation right now, Coach. Like, it goes to show you just how bad, dare I say, this offense is if Lamar or anything that doesn't resemble Lamar is playing, because you should be able to plug in, right, a Cooper Rush, a traditional standard pocket quarterback, and be able to run some sort of offense, but didn't have the blocking or either didn't have the necessary pass catchers. Like Joe Flacco, old man Joe Flacco, can go to Cincinnati and just throw it all over the yard to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, even if he doesn't know the playbook.
Right.
Like that's what it is. By the way, I was watching Quarterback on Netflix.
Me too.
I'm not sure if you that's what I saw it from. Yeah, I got 2 episodes left. I've been binging it so far, Coach. I got to finish it up tonight. But I mean, when you have that type of talent around you on offense, you can go from quarterback to quarterback and still see success. But with our team, if Lamar Jackson is not out there, then it's like, good luck, Charlie. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a struggle. It's a struggle.
One thing I took away from quarterback is when Joe realized how easy it was to throw the ball to Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
When he you could see this revelation, like, damn, that's what it's like to have a receiver. One.
He was like, bro, I ain't never seen no shit like this in my life.
Right. Because when you made me think, like, who was the best receiver Joe played with? Was it Steve Smith or
probably Anquan? Bolden? Yeah, I think Bolden.
And neither one of them could hold T. Higgins or Jamar's job.
Nope.
Joe was like,
maybe
that's
Bolden
why he resigned. Probably, I think I could just throw it up. He realized what Joe Burrow said. Jamar down there somewhere. Just throw it up.
F it. Jamar down there somewhere. That's exactly what it was, But that kind of goes to show, like, that's why I was campaigning in the offseason for the Ravens. If we're going to go out and we're going to spend money or capital on a wide receiver, go get A.J. Brown. Go get somebody who's worth a damn. Not to say that these other receivers aren't, but, like, get you a bona fide wide receiver one. So even if Lamar Jackson couldn't go one day, you can easily put in a Tyler Huntley or whoever you have at quarterback, and you can rely on the playmakers around him to bring you home. You can't really rely on any of the playmakers around outside of the quarterback if Lamar Jackson isn't playing. You just can't. So, all right. But let's go ahead and move on here. Before we do, I want to give a shout out to the live chat. I see we got Afia in here now. Says I didn't get a notification for this. I don't know why YouTube's been doing that. Hasn't been sending out notifications for these live streams. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know. Monty's in the chat as well. Says I still want them to trade for Jettas. Yeah, you've been peddling that one for a while, Monty. I don't think it's happening. But that would be cool. Let me see. Smitty, what up? All right. Oh, Black Daniel says here exactly what we're saying. Team success was predicated on Lamar being magical every week. There was no system of consistency. There was no playing like a Raven. Yeah, the entire identity got to just be Lamar Jackson. I think that was really the issue with the Harbaugh era, right, Coach? Because and I promise we're gonna get to the running backs in a second. All throughout the not Harbaugh era, but the Harbaugh and Lamar era, slowly but surely, year to year, you just kind of saw that, hey, we got Lamar Jackson. He's just going to make something work, and we're just going to put all the money and invest everything into the defense, which obviously has not panned out. But just relying so much and so heavily on Lamar Jackson, it gets to the point where in the playoffs, if Lamar does not play perfect, meaning if he has at least even one turnover, probably losing the game.
Right.
Probably losing the game because our defense ain't forcing no turnovers. Our defense isn't giving Lamar Jackson short fields. Yeah, Lamar, you gotta drive the field 80, 90 yards every single drive in the playoffs. And don't turn the football over, because if you turn the football over, we can't get it back for you. Right. And we just lost out on a possession. And that's all the playoffs are about. How many possessions do you have versus your opponent? If you have more, you're probably going to win. Just how it goes. Competition is too close in the playoffs. That's what it's all about. So
hopefully the new staff, new team, hopefully that mindset changes this year. I hope. It's wild because it's crazy when you think about it. Going back to Joe, after the Super Bowl, when they paid Joe, they ain't do nothing for Joe offensively. Everything went to defense.
Yeah, I mean,
they didn't get another decent receiver in there until Steve Smith came. But Steve Smith was, if I'm not mistaken, was already in his 30s.
Yep.
We had tight ends, but you need explosive receiver to go with your run game. They ain't really do nothing for Joe either. Once he got paid, so
really
this ain't just a Lamar thing. This is an organizational thing. We pay our quarterback. We ain't paying the rest of the offense.
Period. This is pretty much what it is right there.
This is round 2 of it. Yeah. So for those of us that live long enough to see it, whenever Lamar shuts it down and we get a new quarterback in, we'll see if it happens a third time. But we definitely seen it happen twice.
Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully with the new coaching staff and just the new regime in general, some of the philosophies change and we do start seeing more investment into the quarterback sooner rather than later, honestly. But let's move on to these running backs here.
Okay.
Again, projecting this 53-man roster for the Ravens. So in 2025, the Ravens rostered 5 running backs total. In 26, I'm projecting that they will roster only 4. I saw a -1 change. So Derrick Henry, Justice Hill, Rasheen Ali, and Adam Randall. Now, as opposed to the 2025 roster, when the Ravens had Derrick Henry, Rasheen Ali, Keaton Mitchell, Pat Ricard, who's counted as a running back in these lists, and Justice Hill, do you think that the Ravens upgraded, downgraded, or stayed the same at running back?
It's a tough one because I like Keaton.
Yeah, me too.
I'm gonna say upgrade though, because you got healthy Justice Hill, Rasheen Ali can run his own stuff, and then Adam Randall is more versatile than Keaton.
He is. And
if Adam Randall learns how to pass pro, he'll jump up to number running back 2 in my eyes if he can pass pro.
And that might be something that we see early on in training camp as well. When they get those pads on, they're going to throw them back there, have them line up next to the quarterback out of the gun and say, hey, look, on 3rd and long, we need you to block the extra guy, right? Yep. Can you do that? So we'll see. We will see. I think it's an upgrade too, only because I'm higher on Adam Randall than most. And it's because of exactly what you said. It's the versatility, man. It's the versatility. I mean, you're talking about a guy who, you can essentially use as an extra receiver. We forget that he's only played 1 year at running back at Clemson, right? He averaged about 5 yards a carry and had like 10 touchdowns at a crazy season in his first year running back. And he's still an ascending talent at that position, but his bread and butter was catching passes.
Yep.
Right. He was a wide receiver. So you could very well see him lined up in the backfield, the motion out wide, and he's a legit threat out there. And defenses don't really see that coming, which is something that you didn't really see from Keaton Mitchell. And like you mentioned before, if Adam Randall can learn how to pass block, it's over with. It's over with. He's going to be the next, dare I say, Derrick Henry, and not in the literal sense, but like I think he'll be our next running back 1 in the size, right? So I think it's an upgrade as well in the running back room. Let me see what y'all are saying in the chat here. Void says depends on how this offense looks without Pat Ricard. That's an interesting one. So I mean, that's a good question. Do you think Smythe? Okay, so do you think that with no Pat Ricard anymore, does it make this offense? Does it make them less predictable? Would you say?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because with Smythe out there, you can line him up as fullback and do the stuff Ricard was doing. You can line him up at wing and do the stuff Ricard was doing. But you can also line him up at them same positions and do regular tight end stuff.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I've never seen Pat drop a ball, so this is no Pat Ricard slander. I liked the role that Todd Monken carved out for Pat Ricard. Now the Greg Roman.
The
Greg Roman role, I hate it. But what Todd Monken did with Pat Ricard, I loved it. And in this case, whatever we need or whatever we feel like we need some Pat Ricard-ish stuff, there's Durham Smythe. Because look at Durham Smythe with Declan Doyle last year. Did the same stuff.
Yeah.
Same stuff. Durham
Tila says
Smythe
in the
played for the
chat,
Bears.
Tila says, you knew what was about to happen when Ricard came out. Yeah, the Ravens had a lot of tells. Lots of tells last year. When Ricard comes out, when Henry comes off the field and Justice Hill comes in, lots of tells, you know. So hopefully this new coaching staff, they'll realize that, hey, look, like we don't want to show our hand pre-snap. You know, like we want to make sure that we stay as multiple as possible. And that's kind of like the philosophy of Jesse Minter as a whole, because you look at a lot of his defenses, right? He's showing one thing pre-snap, but by the time the ball snaps, he's showing something totally different.
Yeah.
Right. So he's not big on like showing you what he's going to do before he does it. So I think that that'll also translate over to the offense as well. I'm sure him and Declan Doyle will have sit down conversations about, hey, look, we want to catch these teams truly off guard, you know, whether that be on second and short, whether that be on 3rd and 4, whatever. We want to make sure that we keep teams on their toes and on their heels. Yeah, go ahead, Coach.
Speaking of predictability, when I first started doing this, we had 3, if not 4 running backs. Gus Edwards would run the dive. So when they would do like the dive option with Lamar, that would always be Gus Edwards. Kenneth, whatever his last name was, would always run counter. And then we had somebody else that would do like outside zone stuff. You could tell what running play was coming based off the back that was in the game.
See,
and that's great. That's that Greg Roman stuff.
Yeah. Still don't know how does Greg Roman still have a job? Does he have a job? Is he employed?
I think he with the Giants.
Is he?
I think he with the Giants. Chad, help us out. I think Greg Roman with the Giants.
Because they got him up out of there in LA.
Yeah.
For
Mike McDaniel.
For Mike McDaniel. Yeah. Is he with the Giants? Man, it's really the New York Ravens over there. This is really what it is. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to these wide receivers, the hot topic, right? The most kind of controversial position group on this team. Last year, the Ravens had 6 wide receivers on their roster going into 2025, and those wide receivers were Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, DeAndre Hopkins, Tylan Wallace, Devontae Walker, and LaJohntay Wester. And I'm projecting this year, there'll also be 6 wide receivers that are on the 53-man roster. So Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Devontae Walker, LaJohntay Wester, Jacoby Lane, and Elijah Surratt, which are both rookies on this team. So basically, because I'm gonna get, you know what I'm getting ready to ask you, Coach. All right, did we improve? Do we upgrade? Do we downgrade? Or do we stay the same? So basically, what we're asking here: do you like the tandem of Jacoby Lane and Elijah Surratt, the prospect of those two, more than you like the prospect of the two of DeAndre Hopkins and Tylan Wallace? What do you think about this wide receiving core as opposed to last year's?
I think we stayed the same. I think Zay's gonna give you what he's gonna give you. Still got question marks with Bate and Tez. Jonte hadn't really had a chance to show anything yet, but that's obvious because he played behind Zay. I think D-Hop. So just these last 4 names. I think D-Hop was better than the 2 rookies.
Okay.
But I think the 2 rookies are better than Tylan Wallace. So that's why I landed on we stayed the same.
Got it. So you think those two things kind of cancel each other out there, and we stay the same? That's interesting. Because I, you know what? Until further notice, I have to say that we downgraded.
Okay.
I have to say that we downgraded until further notice, only because.
What make you say? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, only because DeAndre Hopkins was proven to be that guy, and he was really the only guy where it looked easy, on like timing routes, 3rd and 7. Hey, look, we really need one. Hey, I'm going to DeAndre Hopkins on this out real quick. He's going to be one-on-one. Doesn't matter. As long as I get him the ball, I trust him to come down with that 50-50. He's done that. He did that multiple times last season for Lamar Jackson to keep the offense on the field, not to mention some of the touchdown catches and things like that. He still got it. Not to mention, I think that if the Ravens brought him back in, which I think that they still should, I said it in your live chat earlier today, I think that they should bring in D-Hop because he can mentor these younger guys. He can be that kind of like, that veteran elder statesman in the locker room to kind of mentor Jacoby Lane and Elijah Surratt. Hell, he was just standing up for Jacoby Lane on Twitter just the other day. I don't know if you saw that, Coach. Saw that?
I did.
Yeah, because everybody was killing Jacoby Lane for those routes that he was running. He was really just working out. People say, "Oh, he looks stiff. He looks slow." DeAndre Hopkins, right there at having his back. He said, "Hey, look, man, he's a jump ball guy. You put the ball in the air, it's his. He's gonna go get it. Right? He's gonna ball out. Can't wait to see him with Lamar." If I'm the Ravens and I'm looking at that, because the Ravens, they have their ear to the streets. They see these things. I'm calling up D Hop and say, hey, look, D Hop, we got 17 mil in cap space. What's the minimum you'd be willing to play for this year? You just want to come back, you know
He
what I
already
mean?
said it.
What'd he say? What did he say, like six or
He
something?
said it to what's the dude? He said it to Butter. He said he'd
Did
take
he?
the same deal.
What was that? What was that deal? I can't remember.
It wasn't a lot. I don't remember, but it wasn't a lot.
Somebody in the chat, let me know how much D Hop made last season with the Ravens. I want to know now, because if the Ravens can afford it, I think it's a no brainer to bring him in. To be honest, I don't expect a whole lot from LeJohntay Wester. I don't. I'm sorry. I know Eric DeCosta said was talking him up last week in the interview with 105 to 7 with Cordell and them, but I just don't see him having a prominent role at all in this offense, and he can't mentor the younger guys, anything like that. I just think LeJohntay's kind of in no man's land.
Mhm.
So I think that you kind of take him out, put in DeAndre Hopkins. At least then you have proven receiver, right? Who also can mentor these young guys. That's what I think.
I'm on the opposite side. I don't think D Hop got it no more. I think
Why?
if it's 50-50 balls is all he got. It's a lot of, like, I'm watching D Hop when he not getting the ball, and them DBs are all over him. The only balls he getting is them highly contested balls. He ain't getting open. The cats are on D Hop because they know he can't run past them. They sitting on the quick stuff. Like them 3rd and 7 you just mentioned. Did you see? Remember how contested that was? Because they just sitting on him
Yeah.
because they know he can't run past them.
Yeah,
He ran
that's true.
past somebody in Buffalo and made that catch, and that's the only person he got behind all year.
And I guess if you're the Ravens coaches, you want to generate more easy looks as opposed to more, tough looks like that
Yeah.
to DeAndre Hopkins, because those can be a little bit risky as well. Who's to say a ball doesn't get popped up, whatever, and is going back the other way, all those sort of things. So I can see it from that standpoint, coach. But like at the same time, if you're going to say that about DeAndre Hopkins, then shouldn't you be saying the same thing, but probably worse about Jacoby Lane and having more worry about that? Because who's to say? I mean, he wasn't the biggest separator in college, and now he's going to the pros, and he's a jump ball guy too. But he hasn't proven to be able to do what DeAndre Hopkins can do at this level. So what do you have to say about that?
I think the difference is D Hop is on this plane, Jacoby's on this one, and Jacoby I think got unlimited potential. Now I said a bunch of different times, I don't think he's gonna be the better of the two rookies this year, but I think he will have the better of the career out of the two rookies. And Jacoby is an unlimited potential. He can get better at route running. He can get faster. His contested catches can go up. D Hop, you pretty much is going downhill. He ain't at the cliff, but he can see the cliff.
Yeah, sure. You could say that about. I mean, you could say that about a couple different guys though, who we look at as depth pieces on our roster. A couple different guys who we look at as starters now on our roster. I mean, we could honestly say the same thing about Ethan Pocic. His best days are behind him, and he's not going to be impactful on this team. Listen, coach, I think at the end of the day, D-Hop, more so than anything, would provide value for guys like Jacoby Lane and Elijah Surratt, because they match the play style that he was so dominant in his heyday.
Mhm.
And if anything, he can just come in and really be like almost like a coach, like an on-field coach. You know what I mean? In practices and things like that. Outside of Kerry Colbert, who's the wide receiver coach, who, according to Steve Smith, is a very good coach. You pair him with one of the better wide receivers in the past decade in DeAndre Hopkins. These younger guys, I think that their growth and development will be accelerated even faster, right?
Let me be devil's advocate to you then.
Okay.
You put in D Hop for LeJohntay.
Mm-hmm.
Who returning your kicks? Who returning your punts? You gonna trust Rasheen Ali?
That's what I was gonna say.
You gonna trust Adam Randall?
I was gonna say Ali and Randall. And see, that's another thing, coach. Things we need to be looking out for in training camp. Who's taking those punt returns?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not just gonna be LeJohntay.
Right.
It's going to be some Ali. I definitely think it's going to be some Randall as well, especially considering his skill set as a receiver / running back hybrid. I definitely think that's there. So they have some flexibility, right? And I think that
catching punts ain't easy for people to just throwing Randall name out there and Bateman. Catching punts ain't easy.
You say Bateman?
Somebody put Bateman in the chat.
Oh, okay. I thought it said Bateman catching punts. That's crazy. That's crazy. Let me see. Tila says we don't need another receiver unless we're letting one go. Yeah, I saw Tila say she has a problem with we've got way too many mouths to feed, basically, in the wide receiver room. And to an extent, I do agree. I just feel like a little bit of veteran leadership in there would be great. That's just where I'm at with it. But let us know down below in the comments section. Do you think that the Ravens wide receiver room upgraded, downgraded, or stayed the same, and why? Let us know why down below in the comments. Let me see. Did we get what was that? A gift or something? I don't even think I saw it.
Happy poop.
Happy poop. Happy poop. Appreciate the jewels. Appreciate the jewels. Who was that? Void. Appreciate the jewels. Matt says Zay is the veteran now. Yeah, but is he like
Bates the veteran?
Yeah, Bate he's the vet, but like I don't look at Bateman or Zay as veteran material yet. I just don't.
When you look at the list, son, the whole room young.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying D-Hop. Bring D-Hop in. That's why I'm saying bring in D-Hop.
This will be Ted's third year. This will be LeJounte's second. Mm-hmm. This Lane and Surratt rookies. This is Zay's fifth? And Bateman sixth?
I think this is Zay's, was it in his fourth? I think this is Zay's fourth year.
And then Bateman fifth? No, it's sixth for Bateman, right? Bateman was there 2 years for Zay or one?
I think 1 year. No, 2 years.
So 6, 4, 2, 2, 1, 1.
Yeah. They're all young.
Yeah.
They're all young guys.
That's a hip hop room right there.
I mean, it is. Could D-Hop mentor Lane or Surratt? I totally think he can. I totally think again, their body types and skill set fits what D-Hop knows how to do best.
Mm-hmm.
And if you bring him in, not only can D-Hop be a playmaker for you on his own, but he can also expedite the growth and development of those two young guys. So I think it's no brainer. Bring him in, $5 million, $6 million. Mm-hmm. Just give it to him. All right. Let's move on here. Let's move on to our tight end room, coach. Tight ends. So last year, the Ravens rostered 3 tight ends. This year, projecting they will be rostering 4 tight ends. Last year, their tight ends were Isaiah Likely, Charlie Kolar, and of course, Mark Andrews. And this year, I'm projecting that their tight end room is going to look like as follows. Mark Andrews, Durham Smythe, Matthew Hibner, and Josh Cuevas. So I'm interested to get your take on this one, coach, because do you think that with adding on an extra tight end, do you think that the room got better? Did we upgrade? Did we downgrade? Or did we stay the same?
Downgrade.
Okay.
Downgrade. Isaiah Likely, budding superstar. Charlie Kolar, glue guy. You brought in 2 rookies, but they may turn out to be okay. But Likely and Kolar, they were impactful players in my eyes. Maybe, maybe not numbers wise, but they impacted the game from a coaching, standpoint. And we don't know if Hibner and Cuevas, Jose Cuervo can do that.
Yeah. It's just a matter of who's going to replace that playmaking.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a big proponent of Jacoby Lane, potentially being that next kind of big body, hey, I'm gonna just throw it up to you, go up and get it type of target for Lamar Jackson. We'll see if that ends up panning out. But if we are strictly talking about the tight end room, I definitely got to agree with you, man. I think it's a downgrade right now until further notice. Mark Andrews, what are we going to get out of him? Just got a contract extension. Likely is no longer in the fold now, so it's all back on him. The pressure's on for him to really produce and be that lead by example while also being super productive on field and things like. So I just don't. Let me ask you a question, coach. And all 120 people watching right now, I want you guys to answer this question as well. Tell me which you have more faith in. Do you have more faith in Mark Andrews as tight end 1 or Rashad Bateman as wide receiver 2?
Oh, Lord. More faith than Rashad Bateman as receiver 2 or Mark Andrews as tight end 1.
Right.
That is a conundrum.
Yeah.
Question. Overall or regular season?
Overall.
Damn.
Let us know in the comments section. Let us know in the chat what you think about that one, man. I mean, me personally, I would say Rashad Bateman as a wide receiver 2. I have more faith in because at the wide receiver 2 spot, you're not asking him to do quite as much as you are with Mark at the tight end 1 spot. And that might that might sound like a little bit of a cop out, but I'm trying to be as logical as possible about it here. And with Mark Andrews, honestly, man, after last year, I mean, of course, it was a down season. I think he had 5 touchdowns, something like that. Lamar is still going to look for Mark Andrews. I think he's still going to be a focal point of this offense in terms of,
Probably gonna look for him more this year.
It probably look for him more this year, but I don't know, man. I just think that there's a lot of weapons and a lot of things that are, you know what? I think the main reason why I'm saying Bateman here is because I said overall. You said in regular season or playoffs. I'm saying overall because both should count. Regular season, I've seen Rashad Bateman turn up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Postseason, I've seen Rashad Bateman turn up.
So you kind of see why I'm asking my question.
Yeah, and then with that being said, that's why I'm saying that's why I'll probably go with Bateman because overall, I've seen him perform in both scenarios. Mark Andrews has been more consistent in the regular season. I'll give him that, but to be in year 9 for Mark Andrews, it might be year 10 for Mark Andrews, and to have never scored a postseason touchdown, absolutely unacceptable.
In the same year as Lamar.
Okay, so year 9 for him too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go with Bateman.
If it was just regular season, I would say Mark, but since we talking playoffs and Mark has continued to have opportunities in the playoffs and not produce, whereas Bateman ain't really had opportunities. And the few he's had, he kind of sort of produced in the few he had. So I'm gonna go Bateman as well.
Yeah, definitely going Bateman, man. Definitely. I mean, Chat disagrees. Chat is always going to disagree. They're calling it propaganda. It's not propaganda. It's just the truth.
Boy said, I'm trying to stay out the book.
I
don't think if I picked Mark, I would have gotten the book because it would have been a logical answer. It wouldn't have been just on no bait hate.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been mad if you would pick Mark Andrews because I mean it makes him. Mark Andrews, look, he's been reliable in the regular season for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout Lamar Jackson's tenure as quarterback here, but I just think that, of course, you guys know I'm higher on Rashad Bateman than 90% of the fan base, but that's because you can't tell me anything that Rashad Bateman can't do. Like, what tool does he not have in the toolbox? Like really think about that, Coach. Like, what tool can he not run routes? No.
Consistency. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think it's effort at times that people have an issue with Rashad Bateman, and that can be coached, right? It's not like he's lacking the athleticism. It's not like he's lacking the skill.
Oh no, you can't coach effort.
Yeah, well, no,
you can coach everything else. You can't coach effort. That's a you thing.
Emerald, appreciate the sub, but okay, maybe not effort is the right word, but I'm saying like you can restore his confidence. I think it was a lack of confidence that he had in the last season, right? Because offense isn't really drawn up for me. I'm the third option. Oh, Lamar Jackson's getting killed in the backfield. I'm never getting this football, right? I'm getting 2 opportunities a game. If I drop one, the media's going to kill me all week because I only got 2 chances each game, So, I don't know, man. I think that there's nothing that he can't do. There's nothing that he can't do.
I agree. He just got to be consistent. He got to get his confidence back, and he got to be consistent. But as far as he can run the routes, he can catch for the most part. He's a on-time football player. He's not the scramble drill type guy. If you tell him to run, a post corner at 12 and be there in 2 seconds, 3 seconds, he gonna be there. Now, when it comes to Lamar running around doing his thing, Bate kind of be lost. He just be kind of, okay, let me try to find some grass. Where Zay has it and Mark has a natural feel to find the open grass.
But see, that's where I think, Coach, that you're going to see Rashad Bateman have a big bounce back year under Declan Doyle. I think Declan Doyle is going to have Lamar Jackson under center a lot more, and he's going to be dropping back, showing his back to the defense. And as soon as he faces back up, Rashad Bateman is going to be one of the first one he finds open. They're going to be bracketing Zay Flowers doing whatever they need to do to keep the ball from going to number 4. So Rashad Bateman is going to see a lot of one-on-one matchups early on in the season. Like I told a lot of people, I'm going to make a lot of money betting on Rashad Bateman overs, especially early in the season while nobody else is hip, while Vegas ain't hip to it yet. I'm hitting heads. So trust me, coach. But yeah, I just think that he's got all the tools. He's just got to reestablish that connection with Lamar that he had in 2024. And the coaches have to see what they have in Rashad Bateman, which I think they will.
Mm-hmm.
I think they will. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and get into the next position group here, which is the one where you got some expertise, the offensive line. So last year, the Ravens rostered 9 offensive linemen, and those were as follows. Tyler Linderbaum, Ben Cleveland, Corey Bullock, Joseph Noteboom, Roger Rosengarten, Carson Vincent, Andrew Voorhees, Daniel Fa'alele, and Ronnie Stanley all went into the 2025 season as offensive linemen on this 53-man roster. Projections for this year, still rostering 9 guys, but they would be as follows. Ronnie Stanley, 2 new additions in John Simpson and Ethan Pocic, Venga Ioane, who's a rookie, Roger Rosengarten, of course, returning, Emory Jones Jr., Carson Vincent, Andrew Voorhees, and Danny Pinter. So, Coach, when you look at this offensive line projection here, right, do you think that the Ravens offensive line, I got a feeling I know what you're going to say, right? Did they upgrade? Did they downgrade? Or did they stay the same?
The fact that there is not a guy on there with the initials of DF is a major upgrade to this offensive line. Now, we took a hit with Linderbaum, but removing DF and Voorhees and adding the 2 guys in there, it's an upgrade. It's a tremendous upgrade in my opinion. You have another year with Roger getting better. You bring John Simpson back, who I think is going to be really good for us this year. Venga, we know what we got with Venga, what we think we know from his college tape, and then you got a veteran center. You don't have to have the best center, but you ain't running a guy out there with no experience versus Chris Jones. So you know, at least you got a guy that maybe know a trick or two to at least trip him or slow him down or something. So it's instead of just watch him go by and say, Lamar, run.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's at least that's what I'm hoping. You know, I'm hoping that we don't have any turnstiles this year at offensive line. And I definitely think that there's definitely an upgrade. You know, of course, right now you can say more so, we'll set this on paper. You got to see once the games start being played. Understand that for sure. But based off of, you know, the past couple of seasons, John Simpson is easily an upgrade over Andrew Voorhees, what we had in him last year. Venga Ioane, of course, while being a rookie, he's going to be leaps and bounds, I think, better than DF, Mr. 77, he who shall not be named here on this show. And you even just looking back at what's the name, Venga Ioane's kind of stats from college, like not giving up a sack the last 2 seasons, I want to say. Phenomenal in run blocking as well. He's very versatile, mean, nasty at the point of attack. Pad level, he plays great pad level. I mean, everything about Venga Ioane screams that, okay, he's going to be a top guard in this league. We just got to wait and see. Truly.
Somebody in my chat the other day called DF Fall and Lele.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Fall and yeah. That's pretty accurate. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
And see, they always say we be calling these folks names. It be the chat.
Yeah, it'd be the chat. I mean, the chat be getting us in trouble sometimes. They'll get us in trouble. We love them, but sometimes they get us in trouble. All right. So, offensive line, we definitely think there's going to be some improvements there. Let's go ahead and transition over to the defense, Coach, shall we?
Okay.
So this is let's start with defensive line. This one is going to be interesting. In 2025, the Ravens rostered 5 defensive linemen, and they were as follows: John Jenkins, Nnamdi Madubuike, Aeneas Peebles, Broderick Washington Jr., and Travis Jones. This year, I'm projecting that the Ravens will roster 6 defensive linemen. Nnamdi Madubuike, who, of course, we don't have the status on his injury yet. I think that there is a possibility. You remember when EDC said last week to Cordell and them that they'll have more information probably in 2 weeks. Well, that should be in probably about a week from now, you know. And I think what'll happen, Coach, is they'll probably announce Nnamdi Madubuike is going to start the season on the physically unable to perform list or the designated to return list. That way he doesn't count towards the 53, and they can roster an extra D lineman in his stead while he's gone. But nonetheless, going through the rest of the list here: Travis Jones, Calais Campbell, John Jenkins, Broderick Washington Jr., and then the rookie Rayshawn Benny. Now, as it stands today, with what we know today, Coach, do you think that this defensive line projection here for the Ravens, this 53 for the 53-man roster, is it an upgrade over 2025, or is it a downgrade over 2025, or have they stayed the same relatively?
I think it's an upgrade. I'm
Okay.
going to, in my mind, Nomne's going to play. But on your list, I'm taking Broderick out and putting Peoples in there. And I think you got 5 guys that can get in there and play 0, 1, or 2. And then you got 1 guy in Peoples that can play the 3. Well,
Okay.
Calais can play all of them. But
Yeah.
so I think it's an upgrade strictly off of the versatility of Calais and getting Nomne Matabike back.
Yeah, I think that's a good assessment there. I mean, Nnamdi Madubuike is what's going to make that entire defense go. You know, like we always mention, game of football is played from the inside out. You push in the pocket from the inside, that's going to literally ruin the offense of the opposing team. On the flip side, if your interior O lineman can't block those dudes up front in the middle, then it's going to be a tough go of it for your offense. So, Nnamdi Madubuike, we are just kind of like hoping and praying. A lot of the league doesn't know that if Nnamdi Madubuike was projected to be healthy as an ox and ready to go week 1, this team would be, I don't want to say Super Bowl favorites because I think that's probably comfortably the Rams right now with what they got going on, but easily second fiddle to them. Easily, right? Because Nnamdi Madubuike he's probably the most underrated player on the Ravens. Like the most underrated Raven. And I don't think that's crazy to say. Because you think about like national
pass
media
rush
and stuff.
and he can pass rush and can stop the run. And
Yeah.
ain't bare, you know, a lot of times you get either or with players up in the middle.
He can run down your quarterback too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like, but a lot of like national media, like people like, you know, like a Seattle Seahawks fan probably doesn't know who Nnamdi Madubuike is. You know what I'm saying? But he's probably one of the best players on the team. So I think he's super underrated. Hopefully he's able to go again in probably about a week. We're going to get some news here from Eric DaCosta on his status. And it might not come from Eric DaCosta himself. It'll probably come from Minter or Madubuike himself. We'll see. We'll have to see. But moving right along here. Outside linebackers, Coach. Let's get into it. So last year, the Ravens rostered 5 outside linebackers on the team. And those were, let me see here. Get to this list. Bring it back up where I have it. Okay.
They were the Jabo,
Yep.
Odafia Owe, Mike Green,
Tavius.
Tavius Robinson,
KVN.
Yep.
That's what it is right there. And now this year, projecting them to go into this year with Trey Hendrickson, Mike Green, Tavius Robinson, Zion Young, and Adisa Isaac, ? Right? I mean, like the guy's played in 4 games across 2 years. We don't even know if he really exists, if he's a real person. Right. He's on the thumbnail of this video. For those of you guys who don't know what he looks like, you
that's who
check
that
him
was.
Out there. Exactly.
That's who that guy was.
He said that was funny. Yeah. So what do you think about the outside linebackers? Do you think it's an upgrade, a downgrade, or just a lateral movement from last season, Coach?
I think it's an upgrade. You add Trey in there, outside of what Myles Garrett did last year. He was the sack leader in the NFL the past 2 years prior to that with, if I'm not mistaken, 19 both of those years. And so if I'm not mistaken, he's number 2 over the span of the last 5 years as far as getting sacks in the NFL behind Myles. You add that guy over there that people have to dedicate an extra person to. Now you get your young bucks who are learning. They get one-on-ones, and occasionally, as a young guy, you can win one-on-one. So I expect Mike Green to win one-on-ones 50% of the time. Now that don't always mean you're gonna get a sack, but you can at least get pressure or hurry, and sometimes a sack when you get those one-on-ones. Same thing with T-Rob, Zion, and the Ghost Man as well. So, you know, I expect them to, because of the gravity of Trey Hendrickson, for them to get one-on-ones and to win them one-on-ones at least 40% of the time. And that'll average, you maybe a sack every 2 games.
Yeah. You know what? I think I saw a Coach, because you brought up Trey Hendrickson. I think I saw a stat about not quarterbacks, but edge rushers who have the most fourth quarter sacks. I think in the last like 3 or so years, Trey Hendrickson's at the top of that list. He's at the top of that list. So you talk about a guy who can close games. That's what you're looking for right there. Again, all the stars are really aligning for this to be not only, especially if Madubuike comes back, right? Not only a top 5 defense in the league, top 3 defense, maybe top 2, not 2, but maybe, Coach, one of the better Ravens defenses of all time. Like it's oozing that kind of potential. Because you think about it, what piece, again, granted, Madubuike comes back, what piece are they really, really missing? You know, are they missing, interior D linemen? Again, granted, Madubuike comes back, and I'm going to keep saying that, right? They're not missing interior D linemen. Madubuike and Travis Jones are demons enough, right? And then you talk about Calais Campbell, and you talk about the guys behind him, Aeneas Peebles, you mentioned. Brody's still there. And then also John Jenkins still in the fold as well. I mean, are they missing edge rushers? No, you got a Trey Hendrickson who, like we just said, over the past couple of seasons has had some of the, most sacks in the league, right? So you have a closer now in Trey Hendrickson who kind of brings the entire defense together, kind of being able to close these games, get the quarterback on the ground. Are they missing, talent in the linebacking room, which we're getting ready to talk about now? On paper, Roquan Smith is statistically still one of the better linebackers in this league. And I expect him to take to have a somewhat of a bounce back year getting coached up by Jesse Minter as opposed to Zach Orr the past 2 seasons. So, and are they missing something in the second? Like, are they missing like some innovation in the secondary? Do they not have the jack of all trades safety who you can put in the box or, put out in the outfield and do a bunch of things? No, they got that too. Actually got the best safety in the league, and they got young corners and guys like Nate Wiggins. We'll see what some of the younger guys, Chandler Rivers, will do. We'll get to that in a second too. Marlon Humphrey is still there for what that's worth. Cheeto Awuzie was our best cover corner on the outside last season, despite a few bad moments, So I just think that they have all of the pieces. And then Jesse Minter, who you look up every stat in the book. I don't know if you're seeing this, Coach, but like every stat that somebody puts about Jesse Minter on Twitter is just, it blows your mind.
Top 5.
Like, top 5. It's like he's right up there because they like to do these little scatter plot charts, right? Where it's like, EPA per drop back as opposed to how many, percentage of blitz is called and things like that. And it'll be like, yeah, Jesse Minter doesn't blitz a whole lot, but he's getting a whole lot of pressure somehow, some way. We don't know how he's doing it. He exists by himself on the little scatter plot, right? Him and like Mike McDonald and guys like that are up there.
Yep.
Like Leslie Ford, guys like that are up there. But so again, I just think that this Ravens defense is oozing with potential. And I know that P word right now is going to be like the bane of my existence until September because I'm just chomping at the bit, Coach.
Yeah,
to see
I think
how he puts it all together.
I think that's the key. I think, like you said, you named all the pieces, and individually, I see a lot of people disagreeing that it don't stand out. But when you add Mike McDonald to that, I mean not McDonald, I'm sorry, you add Jesse Minter to that, and his scheme, which is similar to Mike's, and they're good friends. It could. I don't think it can rival best defense ever. But it could be the best defense we've seen. It could be better than that defense, that Triple Crown defense. I can see that we had 3 or 4 years ago because of the pieces there.
The main thing is going to be how many turnovers can this team force? Can they be top 5 in the league in turnover differential, right? Can they take the ball away and not give it away? Lamar Jackson is known in his career to not throw a whole bunch of interceptions. And as long as Derrick Henry doesn't have a case of the fumbleitis like he did early last season, again, with all those pieces on defense and all the havoc you're going to be able to cause, especially in the first couple of weeks of the season, Coach, I mean, what are we talking about? You're going up against Daniel Jones, maybe an Anthony Richardson. You're going up against, okay, Dak Prescott will give you that, but then you're going up against Tyler Shuck. You're going up against Michael Penix, Tua Tagovailoa, Cam Ward. Right? Are they going to be able to stop a Jesse Minter defense with all this talent?
Should not
that
be
that the league hasn't seen yet? I just don't see it, man. But the Ravens, if they hop out to like a 5-0 start, the media is going to say, oh, they ain't played nobody yet. Right? We got to see when they play.
It's the schedule then.
The Bengals. We got to see when they play the Bills. That's what they're going to say.
Hey, them games matter because winning them games early, when it comes to late November and December, them games, if you blow them early games, you on the road in the playoffs. So them games matter. They're on the schedule for a reason. They are
Facts.
important.
And not to mention, it's like a ramp up period too. Like, what better ramp up period for Jesse Minter in this, his new team than a bunch of quarterbacks, like middling teams, basically.
Yep.
Middling teams, as opposed to last year where right off the bat it is Bills,
Buffalo.
Browns, and then Chiefs and Texans and Rams, like all back to back to back to back to back. Now like some of those hard games are on the back end of our schedule. So hopefully we'll have our sea legs underneath us. We'll have our identity, our Minter identity, right? And we'll be playing in midseason form by the time we get to maybe week 7 when we play against Cincinnati. So, Coach, let's move along here. We're almost through this roster here. So we've gotten through the outside linebackers. Let's take a look at the inside linebackers. Inside linebackers, Ravens rostered, I believe, 5 last season. Roquan Smith, Trenton Simpson, Jake Hummel, Teddy Buchanan, and Jay Higgins. This year, projecting for them to roster 4. Roquan Smith, Teddy Buchanan, Trenton Simpson, and Jay Higgins the 4th. Do you think that would be an upgrade, downgrade, or a lateral movement?
Lateral. Because you pretty much got the same guys.
Yeah.
You got Roquan, who we know we get. Teddy's coming back from an injury, so we kind of got a little question mark there. Trenton, I think you're going to get a motivated Trenton because this is contract year for Trenton, and he's not scheduled to start. So he going to have to, find a way to get on the field and then make plays while he's on the field. I think you'll get a bunch of boom or bust plays from Trenton Simpson because this is the money year for him, and he's not a starter. And then Jay Higgins, I think he'll just be the third linebacker, special teams guy. And thank God Handman Hummel is gone. He was a waste of a roster spot to me. Waste of a roster spot.
The special teams and whatnot, like they love to have him out there, use him there and all that. But yeah, he really was. He really was really just a body out there, warm body. Now, when it comes to Trenton Simpson, I think you bring up a good point. This is like the year that he's going to have a chip on his shoulder because if Teddy Buchanan is not ready to go week 1 and Trenton Simpson goes out there and he kind of underperforms, and then by the time Teddy's fully healthy and ready to go, he gets his chain snatched immediately. It's like, okay, sit your ass down. We got Teddy in the game now. That's pretty much, you can kiss Trenton Simpson goodbye from the Ravens, So that's where he's at. So I expect him to come out very aggressive this season, very instinctual. And I do love the fact that a lot of these guys who maybe since we've drafted them haven't really panned out in the way that we necessarily would have wanted them to. A lot of these guys, I think, under this new coaching staff will be able to properly develop and we'll see what they actually have, especially the guys on defense. Because, Jesse Minter's going to come in. He's an amazing, a phenomenal teacher, according to everybody who's worked with him pretty much. And I think that he's really going to do a good job in at least showing us truly what some of these players are capable of that we really haven't seen too much out of, like Trenton Simpson. Who else on the defense? I mean, maybe Atavius Robinson takes another leap forward, right? Definitely some of the younger guys. Zion Young's gonna be interesting to see, him as a rookie, how he does, how Jesse Minter kind of ushers him into the league. But there's a couple of names that you could say we have really just kind of been just neutral about over the past few years, who hopefully Malachi Starks is another one too. Malachi Starks, Tila says in the chat. We want to see how Jesse Minter's defense impacts some of these younger guys who we haven't seen the most out of yet.
What'd you think about this? Move Trenton Simpson where you got Ghost Man at and go get Matt Milano.
Hey, that's not a bad idea because Trenton Simpson at Clemson, he was coming off that edge, and he talked about that earlier in the offseason. How he would like to get back to that. He feels natural there, and I would like to see it. He's got a lot of quickness on that outside, right? He's not the biggest guy, but that's interesting. I never really thought about it like that. That'd be interesting. But Matt Milano, is he he's free agent?
I think so. I think so.
Interesting. I have to look into that. Gotta look into that. All right, let's move on here, Coach. Let's move on here. What do we have next? So next we have the cornerbacks room. Okay. So In 2025, the Ravens had rostered, how many was it? Six cornerbacks. You had Nate Wiggins, you had Cheeto Awuzie, you had Jair Alexander, you had TJ Tampa, you had Marlon Humphrey, and I believe Ruben Lowry. This year, projecting that we go with how many? 6 as well. Marlon Humphrey, Nate Wiggins, Cheeto Awuzie, TJ Tampa, Keon Martin, and Chandler Rivers. Do you think that would be an upgrade, Coach?
Yes, and because of the bottom of this list. Keon Martin really outplayed what I expected from him. Keon he fits the Kyle Hamilton crash out mode. He play hard. When given a small opportunity in the preseason, if I'm not mistaken, versus the Cowboys, he got a TFL and a safety on back-to-back plays. Then when he got opportunities to play during the season, he made plays, and then definitely made plays all special teams. So, and then you get Chandler Rivers out there, the rookie. He's one of the smartest, instinctive guys coming out in the draft. For us to get him at the spot we did, I think it's only because of his size, but I could see him as a Tavon Young type player. So I think it's an upgrade.
Okay. Yeah, and then you know what I noticed about guys like Chandler Rivers, you may see him like coming off the edge on like a corner blitz and things like that, right? I think we saw that a little bit in his college days. So I do expect for Jesse Minter to utilize all the guys on this roster that are able to kind of throw wrinkles, like different little wrinkles in this defense, to the team's opposing offenses. So it'll be interesting to see how the battle shakes out in training camp between guys like Chandler Rivers and maybe Keon Martin and maybe some of the other guys who are fighting for spots there too. But I asked Alex this yesterday, and I want to get your opinion on it, Coach. If you had to rank the 3 levels of the Ravens defense, so like that front 7, linebackers, and then the secondary, right?
Okay.
So the front, well, how would you rank those?
Secondary 1. Front 7, 2, linebackers 3.
Really? Because I have front 7 as number 1. Madubuike, Travis Jones on the, pushing that pocket from the interior. And then on the outsides, you got Trey Hendrickson and who knows what Zion Young and all those boys are going to do coming off of the edge. And, with Roquan and Teddy Buchanan and Trenton Simpson, I truly don't see, like, if I'm talking about like upside, I see them as the least upside on the team, out of those 3 groups there.
So you had linebackers at 3 too?
I have linebackers at 3. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Okay.
I have linebackers at 3, and then I have secondary at 2, and I have the front at 1. The secondary, only reason I have them at 2 is because we saw what we got from Marlon Humphrey last year. We saw what we got from Nate Wiggins, and look, I'm happy that Nate Wiggins is apparently 100% for the first time in his football playing career now.
We about to get Deion Sanders out there, boy.
Hopefully he's locked down. Hopefully,
100% Nate.
I do definitely think that they are one injury away from really being like, oh, this is trouble. This is trouble.
I
Cheeto.
don't feel that way this time.
Why not?
Because we won't be so reliant on man. Mentor runs a boatload of zone, and I think that helps TJ Tampa. I think that helps Keon Martin and Chandler Rivers. Also helps Marlon because Marlon is not as fleet of foot as he used to be, and his technique slips from time to time. So if he can defend the space and not necessarily run around with a man, I think he'll be good. The only one that we got that's gonna love when we go man is Nate, and I think Nate's a man corner.
Match. Yeah, that makes sense. And you know what? Because like you mentioned, Jesse Minter does run a lot of zone, and he gets pressure a whole lot with just 4, like which is just a 4-man rush. So I can only imagine how it's pretty much going to be like Christmas back there for those DVs a lot. Just kind of sitting back there watching like it's gonna be, that like during the like those old like Floyd fights, that one referee who'd be like watching and he like actually like his facial expressions are like cringing. He's like, ooh,
Yeah.
ooh. That's how the DB is gonna be in the second day. They're just gonna be watching a 4-man rush, kill the other team's quarterback, and then at the last second, a quarterback try to make a desperate heave. It's like, oh, that's Christmas over there, cookies, throwing Subway meatballs. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be a lot of interceptions. That's what I'm thinking.
I can see DB like, don't throw this ball. I know you not finna
Exactly.
throw. Oh, he threw the ball.
Exactly. It's Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it's gonna be. I feel like for those DBs, man. Let us know if you agree down below in the chat. Also in the comment section, if you're part of the replay gang. Over 100 people still watching live right now. Thank y'all so much for coming through to this episode of Quiet Storm Sports right here on the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, where we cover all things Baltimore Ravens. I'm joined today by Sip to Tally Films at Sip to Tally. You can see it in the title of the video. Click on it. Subscribe to his channel as well. He's also putting out great Ravens content. Okay, Coach, let's get into, we only got a couple left here. So safeties is next. Mm-hmm. Safeties. Last year, you had the Ravens go into the season with how many safeties? So they had Kyle Hamilton, Sanusi Kane, Malachi Starks, and I think that was about it right there. Yeah, I think that's about it. And I think it was actually Ruben Lowry instead. It
was Ruben Lowry.
Yeah, it was Ruben Lowry. Yeah, I mistook it from the corner. Yeah, but this year, you're looking at Kyle Hamilton, Malachi Starks, Jalen Hawkins, and Keandre Jackson. Now, I think this is an upgrade, but what do you say, Coach?
I agree. You bring back Kyle and Malachi. You add Jalen Hawkins, who was really, really good with the Patriots last year. So you got 3 legit safeties if you want to run, however you want to run your defense. And I was thinking about this yesterday. If it was a way you can design a defense to be gap sound with 10 people, and then just let Kyle do whatever the heck he wants to do. And somebody mentioned that in the chat a minute ago, but I was thinking about that yesterday. If you could design a defense to be gap sound, your gap integrity is there, and you covering most of the zones and just let Kyle be instinctive, that would be some Troy Polamalu, Ed Reed type stuff.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. I mean, the more you allow Kyle Hamilton to play freely, the more you'll get out of him. You look at like, it's amazing, Coach. If you look at like all 22 film of Kyle Hamilton, I'm not talking about end zone angle. I'm talking about like bird's eye angle, true all 22. Like there's a lot of different plays that you watch Kyle Hamilton like go from one side of the field to way over to the other side of the field once he sniffs out what's going on, and he gets there fast too. He's not the fastest of guys, but he understands angles. He knows that geometry real well.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah, he's smart. He takes the right angles, the right pursuit angles and things like that, and he gets around the play. So I totally agree. And I think that's kind of the goal here. Because when did we get Jalen Hawkins? We got Jalen Hawkins maybe a couple weeks.
Super Bowl.
Really? So it was before Mentor came in.
Well, no, Mentor was first because I'm sorry, not right Super Bowl. I apologize. Right after free agency started.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So I think that was probably Mentor's first order of business. Say, hey, look, get me a guy who I can put back there with Malachi Starks, and they can hold down the whole back half of the field. That way I can get Kyle Hamilton doing whatever I want. He can be my
Derwin
whatever
James.
that exactly my Derwin James or whatever that piece is on the chessboard that's most versatile, can do multiple things. I don't know what that's called.
Queen.
But there you go. So Kyle Hamilton, man, he makes the entire. He's kind of like the he stirs the drink of the defense, because there's just so much he can do, man. And as a quarterback, you have to worry about just so many different things now on this Ravens defense. It used to just be, okay, let me make sure I know where Kyle Hamilton's at, because I know Kyle Van Noy over there, he ain't getting after me. Mike Green is a rookie, he ain't getting after me. So I'm gonna just stand back here, pat this ball, make sure Kyle Hamilton's not gonna wreck my game. Yep. And then Nnamdi Madubuike wasn't there pushing the pocket from the inside. But now that you're getting all of that, Trey Hendrickson, who can get to your quarterback, Nnamdi Madubuike and Travis Jones, who can push the pocket into your quarterback's lap. And then Kyle Hamilton, you always have to worry about, maybe he's mugged up over the A-gap, he drops back out in the coverage, becomes a robber, whatever. You got to worry about just so much mentally. And then, of course, you add that to Jesse Minter showing you one thing pre-snap. And then as soon as the ball is snapped, he's showing you something totally different. So I really just don't see a way that this Ravens defense could fail. If the Ravens defense,
it's no excuse. I can't say it. I don't know if it was in here or in my chat earlier. They have zero excuse defense.
No excuse. No excuse. You're right about that. Christian says double-digit sacks for Trey incoming. His over-under for the year, I think, is set at 12.5. That's what Vegas has got him set at, 12.5 sacks. So we'll see. I'm hoping he can get to like 15 plus. We'll see, though. We'll see. But yeah, safeties room is definitely an upgrade. And then rounding it all out, the specialists. So you got Tyler Loop coming back. You got Ryan Eckley now, who is the new punter after Jordan Stout left and went to the New York Ravens, aka the Giants, right? And then of course we still have Nick Moore, the long snapper. I guess it's kind of hard to tell, Coach, whether this is an upgrade, a downgrade. I would probably say it's a downgrade.
It's a downgrade.
Yeah. I would
Jordan Stout was all pro.
He was. Yeah, you're right.
Stout put it together last year. Them last 13, 14 weeks of the season, Stout was booming that thing, boy.
He was.
And using angles and like coffin corners and stuff too. Stout was a weapon.
Yeah. He was.
He had a lot of opportunities though.
He did. Unfortunately, because we did a whole lot of punting. But Ryan Eckley was supposed to be one of the better punters coming out of the last year's draft class. So we'll have to see. I don't know too much about him yet, but I'm sure we'll hear a lot in training camp. That's one guy who got to keep our ears out for, got to keep our eyes out for, like these special teamers. Is Tyler Loop making those kicks, right? Is Eckley, is the ball coming off of his foot the right way and consistently, right? Is he hitting those coffin corner punts in training camp and subsequently in preseason and taking to the right? That's going to be massively important. Our special teams operation is something that we really have not talked about. We really have not.
Yeah, Stout was a good holder too.
Yeah, we haven't really thought about what that is going to look like. And that's such a huge part of the game, right? As much as we rolled our eyes at John Harbaugh being the special teams specialist, it is important. It is important, right? And hopefully Anthony Levine Sr., who's now the special teams coach, happy for him for that. Hopefully he has those guys ready to go and the operation is in sync,
right?
And consistently in sync, right? Because we cannot afford for, that to be our downfall this season. I'll just say that.
It's looking at this room and just looking at going through all these names like we just did. This team is considerably younger than the past. Because you look at Luke, year 2, Ryan Eckley will be a rookie.
Yeah.
And how many people you got in year 1, 2, or 3? This roster is really turned young, and I like it.
I like it too. I like it. Definitely looks like we're looking more towards the future with this roster, especially again with drafting guys like Jacoby Lane, Elijah Surratt back to back. Also getting 2 tight ends. We're getting a lot younger at positions, going across the offensive line, spending that 14th overall pick on your guard of the future. I'm loving it. Man. And there's a stark difference between, I think, this year's roster and last year's roster. Age is one thing, but then just sheer talent as well. And then when you mix in the new coaching, I definitely think that this team is better. So you guys see the title of the video is, are the 2026 Ravens, are they actually better? Is the roster actually better? Or is there a debate there? I think that there's no debate. The Ravens are absolutely better, 1,000%. It's just about, can this coaching staff put it all together? Yeah, that's really all it boils down to, guys. All right. So that was our breakdown. That was our breakdown of the projected Ravens 53-man roster. Of course, we will get more information on that as the weeks come, what it's officially going to be. Training camp, again, opens up on Friday, where you have the rookies reporting, you have the quarterbacks reporting, and you have the injured veterans reporting. So we'll see what comes out of that. The next week, we are full steam ahead. Full speed ahead, baby. We are back. People talking about, 50 days till football. Football starts now.
Right.
Football starts now. For us,
we got some preseason games to watch.
Yeah, we got some preseason games to watch. We got some beat writers to be stalking for training camp news and whatnot. We got all that. So make sure, please make sure that you come over to Sip to Tally Films, subscribe to his channel. Right, he's got a lot of great content coming out. He specializes in film study. If you want some good all 22 footage that's broken down in a way that's very consumable, right? Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to Sip to Tally Films. Even if you don't know football like the back of your hand, he will guide you through it. So make sure you go ahead and check him out. Like this video, subscribe to the channel as well. You guys know the drill. And Coach, did you have anything else for us you wanted to get off your chest before we get out of here?
No, just make sure you go hit the second channel as well. More Sip to Tally.
Yeah, more Sip to Tally. Also, Sutton Reactions is back. We had another episode this morning. That was a lot of fun. Make sure you go check out Sutton Reactions if you want extra content coming from me talking about things other than football. That's what we do over there. So make sure you guys go ahead and check out that channel too. Neuro Psych Sport says, great show. Appreciate that, Neuro. Appreciate that, brother. Tia says, let's get it. Zion Young voice. Mike says, let's get it. Zion Young voice. That's what we're doing. Appreciate all of y'all. Again, like the video, sub to the channel if you have not already. With that being said, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.